Okay, welcome guys. This is my first time doing one of these, so bear with me. Before we start, I just want to go ahead and say that I don't want to take credit for any of this. It's all here on the forums. You posted it back in like 2012, something like that. It's a really good guide. I didn't see a video guide for it, so I think people could probably use a step-by-step video guide. So let's do that today. So basically what we're going to do is go into the config file. So we're going to go to this file path, and then we're going to edit some lines of text in it. Main one being this, and then these three. So this is really going to help us with our FPS, especially if you have a low end setup, even a high end setup, because Rift is very weird. We all know this if you play it. You can have a really high end CPU, GPU, and still get crap frames, or you're missing frames. You know that you're missing frames, and now some of this is going to be due to memory leak, which is a whole other topic completely. We won't get into that, and I don't think there's anything we could do for that, but I know this will help a lot, especially on lower end CPUs or GPUs, because I've told many people this now, and I've either done it for them through TeamViewer or just told them how to do it, and even myself, it's given me about 40 FPS. So maybe not 40, maybe 20 to 30. I have a higher end, so it didn't really do that much for me, but especially on lower ends, it'll give you a lot more. It makes the game a lot more playable. So alright, so the first thing that I want to talk about that everybody should have is this program here called Ccleaner. A lot of people call it Ccleaner. I don't know why it's Ccleaner, but I already have it open here. So basically this is going to clean everything that has checked here. So I'm just going to analyze first. I would recommend doing this. Wants me to close my browser? No. I would recommend doing this, just leaving everything checked by default. That's checked. It cleans out application history as well. I would recommend doing this probably about once a month. See, right now I have 7 gigs backed up. That's just like saved URLs and cookies, cache, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and run it just to show you guys. Alright, so that's all gone. And obviously if we analyze again, it's gonna be clean. And now the most important part of Ccleaner, that part, not so much. You will find like the bigger difference in your browser probably, but if you, again, if you have low storage, this will help a lot. And then when it comes to registry, this is where I see a lot of problems. Well, at least where the cleaner picks up a lot of registry issues here, which can oftentimes help as well. So we got quite a few, and I just did this probably last month, a few weeks ago, I'm not sure. It'll ask you if you want to back up changes to the registry. This is not important, just click no. See right here it says I have 112, which is a lot lower than I've seen a lot of people's. So I was just hit fix all selected issues, and that's it for Ccleaner. So let's move on to why you guys are actually here for Rift. We're going to go into this file path here. So what I like to do is just go onto the forums where I saw that file path and just copy and paste the file path. And then what you're going to want to do is replace this asterisk, the 2 asterisks and username with your computer name. So for me, it's my real name, that's the name of my computer. And if you don't want to go to the forums and copy and paste that file path, all you need to do is go to computer, your local disk, you're going to go to users, your name, you're going to go to app data, roaming, and then you're going to go to Rift. So I'm going to scroll down, go to Rift, and then there you go. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do when you get into this folder, and notice this is an actual text document, and this isn't. Don't worry if this isn't showing up as a text document for you. Get to that in 1 second. So we're going to go ahead and right click it and go to properties. And at the very bottom, it should say read only. That's good. But when we want to edit it, we want it to not be only read. We want to be able to actually change the text within the document. So we're going to uncheck that. Always make sure that's unchecked first. And go ahead and hit apply. We're going to hit OK. And now we're going to jump in, and I already have it open. Going to scroll all the way down, And we're going to start with the referring to the forums. I'm doing this kind of out of order when it comes to the forums, so sorry for that, but we're going to start with VFX, and the only two variables that we want to change for the VFX settings are, this should not be here for you. I should start off by saying the VFX call distance, we want to add that in there. So it's going to be, let me just re-add that. So it's VFX call distance, and we're going to hit space equals space and then 256. And then the next line, it should be at 750 by default. We're just going to add another 0 to that. Okay, now we're done with the VFX settings, and I'm going to go all the way up to the other thing we're going to change here, and it's going to be under client. So you're going to look for, the client section, which is this whole section here. And the thing we're going to be changing is this right here. We're going to be adding this, rather. So this is main thread CPU, and again, it's just capital every first word, main thread CPU, and then space equals space 0. Now what this does is, by default, Rift, way back when it was released, I don't think there were i5, I think there might have been i5s when it was released, but whatever the reason, by default Rift only prioritizes 3 cores from your CPU. It only wants to use 3 cores throughout the game, so that's a big change right there, especially if you have like an i7, even i5s. It's a big change. And then one thing I will add in for you guys, because I know people are weird and they like to scroll out really far, if you really want to change that, it's these 2 lines right here, max distance scale and scale alt. I'm not sure if you have to change the alternate one, but I change it anyway just to be safe. And again, it's the only 2 lines with the variables that start with 20 under camera. And I know a lot of people like to change them to like 50, I think is a good one, because even if you don't like the max distance, you can just zoom in. And I know a lot of people like to come in here just to change that option, so I guess that could serve, this video could serve that purpose as well. But we got our 3, oh no, I'm sorry, I missed one. Let's, where was that at? And if ever you can't find anything that I'm talking about, you can just hit Control F and type it in. So the last thing we're going to look for is lighting complexity, and you can just start typing it in. It was right there. But this should say, it should be 1.00000 for you. I'm just going to add another one to make it 10, and then that's it for the config. So we're done with this, and then so after we've saved this document, we're going to want to make sure, this is very important, go back into your properties and recheck. A lot of people miss this, recheck read only, because if we do not do that, Rift will default those settings and we'll lose those 3 or 4 lines of text that we added, and none of those changes will save. Let's go ahead and just hit apply, and we're done there. The last thing I want to do, which again is also on the forums, I want to show you guys. This really helps with everything. Not just Rift, it helps with everything. So when you get to the page, you're going to be lost looking for a download link. What I like to tell people is just to scroll all the way down until you see where it says add comment, and then just look right above that. There's this little line that says download application executable files. Click that, and then there you go. Now, if you don't have something like WinRAR, I'll go ahead and link it in the description, but you don't need it. 7-zip is good. I know Windows tends to have its own zipping application, but either way, just extract it somewhere. So what I like to do is extract mine to the desktop. So once you get it extracted, you're going to get this folder, and there's going to be a program they need to run called Unpark CPU, and it requires admin privileges. And all you're going to have to do is hit check status, and this will show you the status of any cores that are parked, if any. I think it'll show me 4 cores because I have an i5. No, it's going to show me 3. And these are the 3 main cores that your CPU is going to use. And I think it might only show ones that are parked, I'm not sure. And all you're going to do is hit unpark all, and then let that run its course. Since mine are already unparked, I can't really change that now. And then you will have to do a restart after this step alone. After any other steps, you do not need to restart. The only thing you'll need to close is your Rift and reopen it. Again, you do only have to restart after this. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and jump back into the game. We did our restart, we got all that stuff done, changed our config. And I'm gonna show you guys my in-game video settings. Just this is more for lower end. Again, if you have like a higher end CPU, you can usually run a lot higher settings than what I have if you prefer a little bit more quality over a little bit more performance. Either way, it's up to you, but let's just go ahead and show you mine. And basically all these settings are the prettiest quality for the highest performance. Now, some of these numbers you don't have to match exactly. If you want to play with some of them, you can. If you prefer higher quality, but the lighting quality and the particle quantity do not change those. We added those in the config file, so they're always going to be all the way up, even though we know that's not the true value, because we actually changed the true value in the config. So, but everything else is open to whatever you want to change it to. This is just personally what I use. So that's it for my first video tutorial. I don't know if I'll be doing much more of these. Maybe if I encounter some problems, I'll post them in the future, but let me know how I did. If you have any questions at all, I'll be happy to help. Just leave a comment. I'll leave a link to my stream. I'll leave a link to the forum page. And yeah, guys, be sure to hit subscribe, drop a like, and I hope this video helped at least some of you. Peace.